Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you.
My name is Christian, and this is the battle at Bounty Hunter Outpost. Basically, bounty hunters, they need like their own little pit stop every now and then. So there is a cantina right here. Over here, we do have a gun store, which does have a full interior with guns and stuff. You can also buy like bombs and like rifles, just everything weaponry. Over here, we have a gear store, so any like gear that a bounty hunter could need, so like a jetpack, melees, helmets, stuff like that. Over in this gray building, we do have where you can get all the bounties at. So say you're down on your luck needing some work, you can go right there and get all the bounties. And then it is a Republic-occupied planet, so there is a clone base. My favorite part is actually inside of it. There's a clone who got cut in half in there. There's a control table and also a little weaponry rack, but it's kind of empty because everyone else kind of needs the guns right now. The Separatists have launched an invasion on the whole planet, and this is kind of their focal point. So there is 4 main parts where they're leading: over here, over here, over here, and over here. I'll start off over here. Back in the back, there is the police box from Doctor Who, if you've ever watched that. Most of the bounty hunters I did make myself, such as my favorite one is this little wolf guy. I used the little granny glasses one from the storybook. But there is a bunch of named ones, such as Cad Bane and Bosk. I'll just leave him there. There is a little explosion over there. We have some clones and my own custom Jedi. They're starting to attack the droids led by General Grievous. He did tear up a clone right behind him, and so he's running to go help attack everyone else. Then near the clone base, clones are famous for their last stands. So there's a clone having his last stand in front of the clone base, trying to just defend as much as he can. Then Count Dooku, I'll fix that later. Count Dooku is doing a 1v1 with this really cool Ninjago, Jedi I made. Then I also used the dogs from Solo Story. I thought they'd be great little like bounty hunter animals to help with the fight. Over here we do have a big battle going on, led by a Jedi. And then there's multiple little bounty hunters. This is also one of my other favorites. I used the Coleman Trevor head on him, and so he's going to help defend. There is a little explosion that's falling apart, but it's being led by him. And there's just a big full-out explosion. Also in the forest, there is all Easter eggs. So like over there, we do have Bigfoot fighting a droid. In the back, kind of more, we have Batman actually fighting a bunch of droids. We do have some monkeys playing around in the trees. I think that's really cool. And then over in the river, we actually do have some ducks floating down, just minding their own business because they know it doesn't really pertain to them. But they are kind of losing the ground battle, so the Republic decided to bring in a gunship along with a multitude of clones to come help in. So I have my own custom Jedi just overlooking the main fight, watching, getting a plan in his head. But there is Anakin and Yoda waiting, jumping all out. There's a platoon of little rocket droids in that back corner, moving in, trying to like just blitz up as they can. There is a bunch of snipers just sniping down at all the droids that they can, but they're just getting ready. There is a nice little platoon of jet troopers floating on down from the cliff to go down and just start tearing them out.
And then the cliff itself is very imposing and impressive here.
That's what I tried to do a lot. I made it really tall. It took me about 15 hours just to texture everything. I would sit on a phone call with my friends, and I'd just sit there with a bucket of them, and then sometimes I'd make like the wrong plates, but I'd still rock them. And so then I'd have to take them all apart, and that got really repetitive. But it is worth it, in my opinion.
So you've got that large display there, and one thing that catches your eye here is definitely the trees. So what was the technique you used for all these trees?
So I mainly used the circular tiles, and then I put the little grass stem on them. On top of those, not a single one of them survived the trip here though. So I had to spend all of Friday just building all my trees and stuff. And but I think it was worth it. Like it is really modular. Each section is like its own base plate, so it's pretty easy to transport. The hardest part was definitely the cliff because of how tall it is. It's also modular as well. But it got here safe and sound, even though it's missing some parts in there.
Now, in addition to this great layout, you've got 3 smaller builds here that have some great details in them. So take us through each of these scenes.
So this is my newest one. I built it right before I did the battle at Bounty Hunter Outpost. It's just a really nice clone standoff where they're trying to hold off as much as they can for reinforcements. So you do have one kind of going down on a string. You have this clone, he died. And I found this really nice red piece that I thought would be amazing for like a blood contrail as he's falling down. There is a command droid leading all the other droids to start attacking, and there is multiple captains trying to call in, radioing for help. There is some jet troopers that are going to get some aerial attacks on them, but they're just trying to hold off as well as they can, along with my own little custom machine guns. I really like that design. It took me a little while to perfect it, but I use it a lot in all my builds. And this is probably one of my favorites. It is Project Blackwing. I don't know if you ever heard of the story, but basically the Sith wanted to test immortality. So they tested on a platoon of stormtroopers inside a Star Destroyer, and all it did was make them zombies. So I didn't color on the minifigures. I got them like that. I wouldn't color on them. But there is a little small platoon of stormtroopers and like a TIE fighter pilot just trying to hold off as much as they can, hoping for reinforcements that never do come. I love using the sausages as like intestines and stuff. I feel like it works well with everything else, but you do have this really cool stormtrooper with a mohawk shooting bombs, and then there is a nice machine gunner just trying to lay down fire on all of them. And like there's a hover tank pilot and one with no legs and just all that different stuff. And then we have the standoff on Crescent. I tried to do it like an Alamo type build where they're outnumbered, but they're putting up a real nice fight. So there's multiple clones just standing on the roof, hoping to fight everyone off. There is a bunch of droids just circling in. That guy's just barely dodging that little laser fire. We do have like some guards that got taken out already on accident. Just they're trying to do as much as they can. That captain's trying to lead his team as best as they can, but they're just outnumbered.
These are fantastic scenes here. So throughout all of these builds, do you have like mini custom minifigures or accessories represented? How did you do with that with most of these?
So I used only Lego on all these. That I am going to start experimenting more with brick arms and what's it called, like custom heads and stuff. Like I'm going to do a zombie mock soon, so I bought a bunch of heads for that. But it's all Lego, which has had its limitations, but I feel like it's worked pretty well. And then I've also like bought multiple sticker sheets. So like over here on the clone base area, there's like dirt stickers and there's little posters that I cut out from like Overwatch sets that I tried to just use different themes into it, and it worked pretty well.
Yeah. And I love the variety of scenes you've done here. So you've got like the forest and the cliff, and then you've got very much kind of like the spaceship greebling idea over here. And then here you said it was like inspired by the Alamo. We're in Texas. That's very appropriate for that. So talk about kind of the different styles of building that you've done here and how you approach those different styles.
So on here, I knew I needed a lot of tubes and stuff. So I went on Bricklink and I just bought all the like the tube pieces that I could find and stuff. And then I bought a lot of clips, and it just held together very nice. I built this really nice elevator with a lot of different parts and pieces. And then like there's little sections that are like the plates on their sides to build the nice effect of like the stuff, whatever it's called. And then with the cliff work, what I normally do is I get a plate and then I'll get a whole bunch of slopes and place it down. On here though, to make it kind of come backwards and out and stuff like that, I used a bunch of ball joints because I was kind of really trying to configure a nice cliff, and I figured out that ball joints would work pretty well. At first I was going to use snots, but I decided ball joints. And then I got a whole bunch of wedge plates, and I just stacked them all on top of each other to make it look where there's layers upon layers and stuff. And then I found a bunch of these little half slit tiles in the pick-a-brick, so I got a bunch of those, and I slapped them all over that. And then on here, I knew you could make a real nice, like, any size thing with those little circular 1x2s. So I bought like 2 cups full of them, and then I built like a nice base out of them. And then they had also the dark tan 2x4, 2x2s tiles in the pick-a-brick. So I got a bunch of those, and I was able to just tile it real nice. Like, most of this is from the pick-a-brick wall, but I use different techniques on that. And so I just like to diversify what I do. Like, I do have a castle, and I used to build like houses and stuff, so I kind of know a little bit about buildings and such like that.
This is fantastic work. Do you post anything online if people want to kind of keep up with your builds in the future?
Not really. I don't really do TikTok or anything anymore, but one day I will post my stuff, but just I haven't in a while.
Yeah.
But
This is great work, so looking forward to seeing more of your work in person at conventions then in the future. Thank you.
yeah, thank you so much. I'll be definitely coming next year.